So this is an Altoids 10 EDC kit. It's basically packed with EDC tools, and you select what you want in here based on what you think is important for you for that day or for that week, for that month, or for whatever you're doing at the time. It's an exercise in optimizing EDC for your daily use and fitting everything into a tiny little tin like this. So you're constantly evaluating what goes into this thing. The one thing I don't like about this is that anything that's down in the bottom space here, you got to dump everything else on the top in order to get to that. So to address that, I came up with something that I call the pocket rack. And it basically takes the Altoids tin and turns it inside out. So all of your EDC tools are on the outside of these plastic cards. These notches on the sides are so that you can stretch bands across to hold your EDC in place. When you load this thing up, it looks like this. So this is a fully loaded pocket rack. It's got all the EDC tools on the outside. It's roughly the same size as the Altoids tin. It's a lycra pouch on the back. You can put some tools in here. You can see where the pocket rack itself is used as a mounting board, and then you can attach different items to each side of it as well. So it's a very efficient way to be able to carry it every day. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We're also going to discuss how you're going to be able to download the file for this and be able to use it, license it for personal use. We're going to get into that more detail. Stick around. One other area where the Altoids tin kind of separates itself from regular, let's say, an EDC pouch like this one, is that you don't know that it's an EDC tin. It just looks like basically a can of mints. So my answer to that, if you wanted to use a pocket rack, is to plastic bags. All of these are like the perfect size for dropping in a one of the pocket racks. The ultimate one, of course, is the bag of prunes. The bag of prunes is absolutely perfect for as an EDC pouch. You can put it into anything. But yeah, no one's going to, if they see a bag of prunes sitting on the front seat of your car, they're not going to break into your car to take, your bag of prunes. All right, so these are the new card designs that we put a logo on one of them. On the Thingiverse website, where you can download the file to make these, there is these are all now licensed under what's called the Creative Commons license. So you can download them for personal use. You just can't sell them. You can make modifications to them too if you want to. If you don't have a 3D printer, you can actually give the file to somebody who can print it for you. There's all kinds of services online that do that. So this kind of pretty much gives you free access to be able to start creating these pocket racks. So the one thing that's a little different, I'm going to be probably making some for sale as well for people who want just directly to get them that way. So they're going to look more like this one here. And there's also going to be a smaller model, which is this one. The smaller model, I actually really like the smaller model. To kind of give you an idea of the size, it's, let's see, it looks like 4.04 inches long and 2.43 wide. And I'll have the data too in the PDF file that you can get in the description that's alongside this video. And for the larger file, this is the one that you're going to get on the Thingiverse website. Again, all this information will be in the PDF that if you go into the description, you'll see it there. So the larger one is 4.4 long, and let's see here. Looks like 2.84 wide. So, and then you can do any colors you want. Like you could use this one for a med kit if you wanted to. They're working great. And we've also designed some new ideas for the elastic bands. One of the most important factors when you're using these pocket racks is the elastics that hold everything in place. It needs to be incredibly secure so that I have video of throwing these things in the air and they're flying all over the place, hitting the ground, and these are held in perfectly tightly. These new bands are just really, really nice in the way that they hold everything in place. But you have alternatives too. These are the silicone O-rings that are I've mentioned previously. So this is the original, card type design. So for the elastic bands with these, this is the last thing that we had been using were these silicone O-rings. So these are 2 millimeters in diameter. So the card's also designed to work with 2 millimeter O-rings or any bands. So they snap. You can see how they just snap right in place. And then you pull it across, and when you pull it across, it thins out and it fits right in. And then you're in place very tightly. What we did to enhance these further, instead of crossing them over like this and snapping them in place so that it would hold down, your EDC items on there, that's not a lot of friction point here for it to be holding the item in place. So to kind of enhance that, we went and put these plastic sheaths across them, so that it becomes like the band is holding the sheet down onto the EDC, onto your EDC items. Let me pop this up real quick. And so what we'll do is put the band on here. Let's go here. Across here. And then you can just slide your EDC directly underneath like this. And you can use smaller bands if you want to get it tighter, but these work pretty well. I mean, they're very nice. And if you want to get your EDC out, you just push it through. And there you go. Really easily done. So the silicone O-rings are great. You just have to size them right. And these are the heat shrink electrical insulation that you can put onto items. So these are the size that you want. Is going to be, for these is, it looks like it's about 18 millimeters. So that would be the circumference. So you want 18, so there's going to be 36 millimeter circumference, because you're going to multiply that times 2. Because you can see it's basically right there. You can see that's just a tube that's held together that way. So yeah, 36 millimeter circumference, and that would be great. And you can slice this any way you want. You can make it longer if you want. You can make it shorter if you want. Whatever works for you and the EDC that you have on your rack. So you can customize it for every single piece that you have if you want. Okay, so that's one alternative. And then what we had talked about earlier were these elastic strings, elastic cords. And what's really interesting about these, let me see if I can show you this. I'll magnify it a little bit here. Is that these have a polyester sheathing on the outside, and then there's a latex band that runs through the middle of it. So when you go to pull it off, you can see it narrows down. These get thinner as you pull them apart, so it fits right in there. And then when you release it, it widens again. And that is how it works with these beads. So when you pull it, you can see that the cord narrows, and then you can move the bead. And then you can slide it up to tighten it like that. And then when you release it, you can see that the cord thickens again and locks the bead in place. So it's a really good solid connection there, holding that in place. And then with the sheathing on the outside, it reduces the wear that's happening on the latex band that runs through the middle of these things. So I'm pretty sure, I think this is a polyester sheathing on the outside. But there's 3 different ways here of working with these cords if you want to try the cords. One was I did a super glue with 2 pieces basically right next to each other, and then I put the heat shrink insulation over the outside and shrank it down onto it. And it's very, very solid. It's a pretty nice way of making a fixed length band if you want to go that way. This is the adjustable one that we were talking about before. So you can run this cord could go vertically too this way if you wanted to change it up. And so you just use one cord for both directions instead of having to make a custom cord to go vertically versus the horizontal. And this last one is just a standard knot. So you just make a knot in the cord at the length that you want, and it's going to pretty much hold it in place. So I like these. So I'm getting a black cord, and I'm getting a black sheathing for the top of the tube like this. and we'll see how that works. That's probably where I'm going to go with these going forward. But this is a really nice. I think this is the direction that they're going to go, and I think these are going to be much more have a lot more wear time to them than the old silicone O-rings. But I mean, these are great too. You know, I've had them going for a couple months now, and as I mentioned, they're just starting to show some wear. But I think this is going to be the way to go going forward. So if you can't tell from the video, I am genuinely pleased with the way that this project has progressed since March when we first started rolling things out. I'm just getting a lot of feedback from people as far as what they're doing with the pocket rack design. I've got photos now coming in from people who have created their own custom designs. One person went and actually created a 3D version of it, which I thought was great. It's very similar to the one that I've just rolled out. Um, I've also seen people go and build them from scratch, which is absolutely phenomenal, which is easy to do too. If you need to do that, there's definitely instructions in the first video. It's turning into something that which is what I was thinking, that people are enjoying, and it's evolving, which is fantastic. It's such a different version from what we first rolled out. It's actually turning into something that you could have all kinds of applications. So I'm really pleased with it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, it'd be great. Refer a friend, that would be fantastic. If you could send this video on to somebody else, that would be great. Look forward to seeing you again. Take care.